The first set of lies that would have been established would have been along the lines of inflation. The Portia-Simpson-Miller government got it and removed and reduced it by 6 percentage points and carried down to 6.3%. Andrew Holness got it and carried down to 5.5, a reduction of less than 1 percentage point. So he's making a big deal about look how me fast when it's just that he got a good batter. Prime Minister Bruce Golding reduced it by 6 percentage points. Prime Minister Portia Simpson reduced it by a further 6 percentage points. Yet they tried to convince us that the best Prime Minister we have ever seen reduced it by less than 1 percentage points.
Bless up, baby, our family and viewers. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl, and Isabel Rose. And in this one, Damion Crawford, Senator of the People's National Party, comes with the truth and unravels the lies from Andrew Holness in his budget presentation on the whole matter of inflation. And I would love for you to watch the entire video. Please and thanks. Watch out the videos them. And drop an honest opinion in the comment section. Before me make on hear what go on, because people still a few of his minions them asking what PNP did in 18 and a half years. And that he is the best. And when we look at the nitty-gritty of it, the best of what? The best at shielding corruption, the best at fighting our courts, the best at breaking our constitution, and the list goes on and on. Not the best at governing this country when his mentor told him that he is not a leader. After 9 years, he's touting about inflation. And we're seeing the prices of goods and services skyrocketed. And he's saying that he's maintained inflation. Anyhow, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Notification shout out goes to Paul Bogle. Big up yourself, Paul. Thanks for the continued support from each and every one.
We have managed to keep inflation down. Come on, man.
So in the land of food and water, them say the prices of foods like fruits and vegetables, egg and meat and them something there are going to skyrocket. How is that possible? No real production now take place on the land over there. Majority of the food them we are left from foreign coming to Jamaica. Remember them remove tax off of raw food that are fruits and vegetables that come from foreign. The people them don't remove tax off of that. So them are welcome food for flood the market from overseas. Jamaica is a land of food and water. That means that Jamaica land is so fertile. You see me, we're supposed to have food in abundance to provide for ourselves and still have enough. So we can send some go give people them a foreign or sell some people love Jamaican food or foreign. No. The production rate, they're below the average, way below the average. No man farm, few people are farm, but the few people who do it can't even help themselves, can't sustain themselves, much less to sustain the whole country. In a time like December, we know say people need food on them table. Where the food that come from? Come on, man. We don't see the farmers them at Jamaica lift up them prices way up in the sky. That proves say not much food there. When the cost of something has been increased like that, that means that the supply is limited. So where the rest of people them go, brother, some things that take place.
When he took over, inflation was 3.7%. Inflation is now 5.7%.
Okay.
When he took over, the economy was growing at 1%. His own favorite agency, the PIOJ, tells us that the economy grew by 0.8% during the first 6 months of this year.
Right.
When he took over, the dollar was 121. The dollar is now 159 after 52 billion in central bank intervention.
What was it before?
121.
121. I think people are saying 121 and 20 cents or something like that.
Precisely.
Right. Okay.
That's now $159 and change after heavy central bank intervention.
Right.
The country's infrastructure is in a state of dereliction.
Right.
We have the lowest unemployment rate but we have diminishing marginal productivity.
Right.
Per capita GDP is not increasing.
Right.
So that's his true record.
I title this conversation Truth and Democracy. Because, Mr. President, the government's debate has been shrouded in lies and fake news. There are indeed different types of lies. There's a stretch of the truth to make something sound bigger or better. That is called an exaggeration. There's omission, leaving out information, important information, so as to mislead. There's also refusing to admit the truth, even when confronted with evidence. That's called denial. There's fabrication, making up completely false information. Misleading statements, which is statements with the intent to deceive. Blame shifting, lying to avoid responsibility by blaming others. And gaslighting, manipulating someone to doubt their memory or perception. I hope that as of Monday, you can use any of these analyses to tell what types of lies are being told to you or have been told in this entire budgetary process. Mr. President, it is upon us that we are called not just to know the truth, but to stand for it. As children of light, we must mash down lies wherever they rise. For what fellowship hath light with darkness? Indeed, they said love and hate can never be friends. Mr. President, the JLP's entire communication is dependent on one statement that the Prime Minister made, and I quote, he said, "There are several generations of young people who do not know our modern history. There are generations of middle-aged and older people who have forgotten." The JLP is dependent on the youth who might not have known and the older individuals who might have forgotten. Indeed, Mr. President, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And the JLP has the heart to mislead, the heart to deceive, the heart to misinform, the heart to misrepresent, the heart to hoodwink, and the heart to hold to power at any cost. I'm sad that a friend of mine is leaving because that heart has been exhibiting itself on their platforms. Persons who are friends of mine, my mother asks me sometimes, how do you choose your friends? Have been calling my name in the most way on radio and on the platform. I said, Delano Seabright, Senator Seabright, a friend as well. And by the way, Senator Seabright is the one who started the rumor about shelling down London with Jamaica money. Can you believe that? I was in London presenting an academic paper. They wouldn't understand that because they're not academics. Paid for by the conference. And a friend of mine started a rumor that I was there shelling down England. But I forgave him.
Of course, because you're a forgiving.
Because when his travel came across my decks in his early times, I could have taken revenge. Because the truth was worse than the lies. But power don't lie in anger. It lies in knowing you could have done it and not doing it. Their mouths, Mr. Speaker, have revealed what their masks have tried to hide. No matter how well you pretend, your words will tell the truth about you. The first set of lies that would have been established would have been along the lines of inflation. And in this case, there is a, students, I want you to look, there's a line there called total inflation, which is the addition of all the years of inflation. It was put there to indicate that there was a period of PMP governance that had such a large level of inflation that it was 2,249. They failed to acknowledge this was the longest term that any government has ever served. And so therefore, over 18 years, they sought to compare with 4 years. And therefore, the accumulated level of total inflation was an unnecessary segment in this table. The average annual inflation speaks, where it speaks to 18. The Prime Minister made heavy weather of this 2000, not indicating the period of time, and sought to also compare Jamaica's reality with the United States reality. Before I indicate the reasons why this is not an adequate comparison, even the numbers that they have presented suggest that there are multiple times that the JLP was worse than the PMP. Now look at February 1989 to September 2007. This is the exact presentation from Mr. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, Dr. Andrew Holness. If you look at the 89 to 2007, 18.5 years that the PMP was in power, the average annual inflation was 18.5%. In the United States, for which he was seeking to make heavy weather, it was 2.9%. That's almost 6.3 times what existed in the United States. But he failed to have done sufficient analysis to recognize that in September 2007 to December 2011, which was the JLP, they were at 12.3% in relative to the United States, 1.5%. That's 8.2 times what was in the United States. So therefore, if it is that relativity was supposed to be used, the JLP in 2007 to 2011 was 8.2 times inflation in the United States. However, the PMP was 6 times inflation in the United States. However, for the knowledge of our students, I'd like them to know that even that was a false analysis. There was no real basis to utilize the United States in comparison with Jamaica. An appropriate comparison would have been other Caribbean islands, because the United States don't have the same realities that we face. But there's even more information in the slides that the Prime Minister presented. In the slides that the Prime Minister presented, it proved that he had the worst performance since he got the baton. Indeed, in 2002, 2007, the inflation's performance since he got the baton. Indeed, in 2002, 2007, the inflation was 18.5% on average. The Bruce Golding government received the baton and reduced it by 6.2 percentage points and carried it down to 12.3%. The Portia Simpson Miller government got it and reduced it by 6 percentage points and carried it down to 6.3%. Andrew Holness got it and carried down to 5.5, a reduction of less than 1 percentage point. So he's making a big deal about, look how me fast, when it's just that he got a good batter. Prime Minister Bruce Golding reduced it by 6 percentage points. Prime Minister Portia Simpson reduced it by a further 6 percentage points. Yet they tried to convince us that the best Prime Minister we have ever seen reduced it by less than 1 percentage points.